And hello, welcome back to the Gay Racing Podcast. Zack and Alex here to discuss NASCAR at Pocono, IndyCar at Road America. Pretty, chill weekend of racing.
Pretty chill.
IndyCar had actually a standout race at Road America, which we'll talk about.
I'm excited to talk about IndyCar this week, guys. It's a throwback episode, apparently, to like 2-3 years ago when I'm like, IndyCar, I love IndyCar. So yeah, that was fun.
And happy Pride Month, not only all of you, but happy Pride Month to Pocono Raceway, living her truth. She's a triangle. Was that a joke last year?
I don't know.
I remember that joke. I made a joke like that, and you said, she's a triangle. I remember that. Well, happy Pride Month to Pocono
triangle.
Raceway. People don't respect her, but, I love when we go to that racetrack, especially since it's only once. We don't need to go there twice.
Both NASCAR and IndyCar had fuel mileage races. We're going to get into both of those.
And IMSA, weirdly enough. Like every race I watched this weekend had a fuel mileage race. It was so weird.
IMSA was under yellow whenever I checked into that. So I did not really watch
plenty of fuel that race.
Yeah. So as Zack said, it is still Pride Month. And we've had 2 Pride Month episodes out as of recording. We've had Nate Stewart, who's a pansexual iRacer, and Ryan Hines, who is openly gay and is the communications director over at Tricon Garage, the truck team. Fantastic guest episodes. Definitely check those out if you haven't already. And Tuesday, the day after this episode goes up, we'll have our 3rd Pride Month guest of 2025, and that is going to be Zack Heron. He is a former ARCA driver. He's made a handful of starts in ARCA. He also has some superbike starts. Really learned a bit about him. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, he talked to us about what it was like when he was like in ARCA, the difficulties of like sponsorship. He had kind of like similar to our Ryan Hines episode. He wasn't filtered with what he had to say. I really appreciated his honest kind of comments. So yeah, that will be a really good episode. That should be out sometime the Tuesday evening after this episode comes out. So yeah. So one more little tidbit of news that before we get started, NASCAR at Pocono, we checked the entry list for NASCAR at Atlanta this weekend, and there was something not weird. There's something different on it, Alex, that we took note of. What was that?
Yeah, Alex Bowman's going to have Ally Pride as its sponsor. On the 48 car. That's why I'm wearing this Alex Bowman shirt this week, by the way. As I saw that, like, oh, let me just try putting on this Ally Pride shirt. I don't have the Ally Pride shirt, but it's Ally. But anyway, it's for Atlanta. So happy Pride Month. We'll talk more about that next week.
I wonder what it's going to look like.
What they actually do.
In the past, they mostly just put the front logo, like rainbow, in the car. But we'll take what we can get, especially this year. But yeah, I'm excited to see that. That'll definitely be a normal reaction on Twitter. Or are they going to post about it? Actually, wait, that's actually a good question. Are they going to post about it? Or are they just going to show up to the track with it?
Yeah, as of recording, we're recording this at 7 Eastern on Monday. We have no posts about it. People found out about this because the entry list came out. So
they might post. Well, they might normally they post paint schemes on like the Tuesday or Wednesday. I feel like they might just like hide it on the hood so the paint scheme preview won't even show it, and then roll up to the track on Friday with a rainbow on the hood, and like no one's gonna talk. Like everyone's gonna pretend it doesn't exist.
And
I'm just saying.
And again, we'll talk about it when we actually get it, but I feel like it's gonna be pretty subtle. Which it's better than nothing. We'll see what it actually looks like.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about NASCAR at Pocono. Chase Briscoe saved fuel and stayed ahead of Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney to win his first race for Joe Gibbs Racing. And Zach, this wasn't just like a fuel mileage race, right?
Are you sure?
Because, we didn't really see the guy saving fuel get punished for saving fuel. There's not really
I was on the edge of my
going
seat
slower
the entire time watching them make laps around Pocono. I'm telling you what. It definitely yesterday lacked a little bit of the uncertainty that we had at Michigan, I think. Cause we literally saw, Byron had the advantage, was saving fuel. Hamlin got around him. literally very similar situation here yesterday at Pocono, but we saw a key difference because Pocono is just not really a track with multiple grooves. So then, the whole clean air thing with these cars, that came back. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
This entire stint where Prime had the broadcast, I kind of forgot about all these issues with the next gen car. Certainly Nashville had some moments where it's kind of boring, but the end of yesterday's race, little disappointing. Not that I'm surprised about it. I don't know. Not really worth getting up in arms about because it's just
No. Well, here's the thing: is that Chase Briscoe made a mistake. The 19 team had a really quick pit stop, and Steve Letarte did an excellent job at catching this.
Fox would have never said this, by the way.
Like the second it happened, Letarte is saying, like, I don't know if they got that thing full of fuel because it was a really fast pit stop. If they did, really good pit stop. But Briscoe went when the jack went down and his car went back on the ground and went. That's what you normally do. But for this last stop, he was told to wait until James Small, his crew chief, told him to go. But he didn't do that. He did what he normally does.
Yeah.
And just very clearly did not get the car as full as they had planned to.
Huge mistake. Like, honestly, that should have costed them the win. You would think it would have. Being like a quote 9 laps short on fuel, that one caution they were able to save, and of course during that last run, able to save enough. We saw a lot of mistakes, just really weird, random mistakes, because this racing these days is just all about execution, right? Like track position, get yourself in the order. Under no means ever are you going to make a mistake and give up that track position. And I'm really surprised that 19 team was able to win that race making a mistake, because that's not how these races are these days. You have to have a perfect race most of the time to stay up front and to win. And honestly, I think they're lucky that they were at Pocono, because if they did that at Michigan, and if it was Michigan, I think Hamlin sails right on by that 19.
Yep.
Maybe not.
Well, James Small said that they were 9 laps short, not like 2, but 9 laps at Pocono.
Now, maybe they were exaggerating. Who knows? No, because why would you exaggerate? Like, maybe they miscalculated. Maybe, I don't know, but that's ridiculous.
And that's where I'm conflicted, because I liked the fuel strategy. And I think a lot of it is because of how Prime covered it. We'll talk more about Prime later and their final race of the year. But I'm conflicted. On Jeff Gluck's poll, he asked, is this a good race? I voted yes, because I was like, well, I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed the uncertainty of if Chase Briscoe was actually going to have enough fuel or not. And I enjoyed the coverage of it, right? But at the same time, Denny Hamlin could not get to him to even have a shot at passing him. Ryan Blaney, same thing. And when you get up to the front of the pack, it is much harder to pass. We saw Ryan Blaney drive through the field twice. He had a speeding penalty. It still came back to finish third. Really awesome recovery, by the way. But when you're up to the front, we saw this with Chris Buescher as well, when it was Hamlin leading and then Buescher second. You just cannot get by the leader. And I saw some people comparing it to that Kansas playoff race in 2020, where they just follow the leader and you just cannot get by the guy.
Yeah. We did not see a pass up front all day. The restarts were exciting, of course, because they're restarts. And I'm sure some of the racing, even mid-pack, was cool, because the guys were, when everyone's in dirty air, then you're all equal. But and Pocono, listen, Pocono's always never put on barn burner racing, but
no.
So it's almost again, that's why I'm not really it feels weird to sit here and be like, you need to fix this car, because at the same time it is Pocono.
This is also it's just a Pocono thing, but at the same time, Briscoe should not be able to save 9 laps of fuel while leading and win the race.
I remember when Dale Jr. won here in 2014, he was holding off Kevin Harvick, and I feel like there was such a sense of man, Harvick has got the fastest car this year. He really could pass the 88 right now. It's gonna be close. He's really going to drive hard, and certainly track position did matter a lot back then too at Pocono, but now it's there's no question about it. It's just kind of. I know
a lot of people are discounting this win in a way because of how the fuel mileage worked and everything, and the car's flaws and everything. But Chase Briscoe, I think, does deserve some credit here, I mean, he managed to save the fuel despite the pressure he had behind him from
hard.
Hamlin and Blaney, who were arguably, I mean, Hamlin specifically was like the best car all day. And Briscoe's trying to get his first win at Joe Gibbs Racing. He knew that he made this mistake, but he didn't let it falter him. And I think he deserves credit for that. So good for him on getting the win.
Really, really good drive. This one in Darlington. I mean, Darlington more so, but two really gritty, tough drives to win those races when they weren't expected to, or maybe even shouldn't have. Although they did have they had themselves in position for about like the last half of the race, which is that takes skill. Like they've had fast cars. Like we talked about this a few weeks ago, like at maybe Nashville. Remember he won the pole at Nashville, and then he like battled Denny early in the race, but then he just fell back. I almost wonder I don't even know if they figured out that problem, because again, Pocono is just such a track position racetrack. If that 19 team managing to find track position, Pocono is a track where you're going to be able to keep it. And another thing, I feel like this is a pretty big win for James Small too, because James Small was under a lot of criticism, with the decline of Martin Truex after Cole Pearn left the last few years of his career. And I think for both James and Chase, this was kind of like a proving year. Like this is not like you're showing up to JGR and okay, this is your first year with us, do your best. This is like, you're at JGR. How many races are you going to win for me this year? Like that's like the expectation. You're at Joe Gibbs Racing, and to be Chase Briscoe, I can't imagine that kind of pressure. Just not only yesterday in the moment, but like on a random Wednesday night.
Well, like and think about it. This was the first time Chase Briscoe is winning in a scenario where he wouldn't be an upset winner.
Yeah,
because he was at Stewart-Haas Racing when they were, on their downfall, specifically last year in the Southern 500.
But if you've been paying attention, it's like, this is still kind of low key an upset, because I mean that 19 team, they have not lit the world on fire this year, which they haven't been bad either.
No.
They just, it's a new driver with a team, right? Mm-hmm. I just can't imagine that pressure, because there's 24 drivers in that garage area right now that wishes they were at Hendrick, Penske, or JGR.
Yep.
Like it's kind of like F1. It's like getting a seat in one of the best teams in F1. Like that's what Chase Briscoe was in, and he's really dealt with the pressure, and he delivered yesterday. So, commendable drive. I think that really soothes any, I guess, negativity over this win with the whole next gen not being able to pass thing. Honestly,
I think both can be true. It's just, it sucks, but also like it's still a pretty cool win.
Oh yeah.
Carson Hocevar was around Ricky Stenhouse Jr. a lot, and I'm gonna dub this as Ross Chastain syndrome, because he just gets so afraid of taking in his past actions, and he just like does not drive like himself in the moment. Like he just stopped. Because look, he was just very hesitant when around the 47 car. He was scared he was going to wreck.
I would be too. What do you mean, Alex?
He just like how Ross Chastain was for quite a while. Hocevar showed signs of being like, oh my gosh, I can't race like myself anymore around this guy.
No, I didn't see that yesterday, because he was running up front.
He was running up front, but he went around the 47 and started dropping like a rock.
That's not really Ross. Because, like, to me, are you talking about like when Ross Chastain, like when Rick Hendrick said something about Ross Chastain, and then we didn't see Ross Chastain for the next few months? Yeah, that's different, because
it's similar.
No, because Carson showed up to Pocono with speed. If he didn't show up to Pocono with speed, and like if he started falling back, I think you have a point. I think what happened yesterday, and I might be wrong because I still don't know why they pitted during that random caution. I almost wonder if they did that to get away from the 47.
Yeah, because then Carson started flying through the field. And again, though, it is easier to pass when you're in the pack rather than up front.
He was really good. Like, he made passes yesterday. I did not see this Ross Chastain syndrome. I think you can only say that if his performance just drops off a cliff. Like there's a situation where he could have won yesterday.
I guess what I'm saying is that there's signs of it where he's like not going to push himself as much as he.
No, he was being.
You don't agree? Okay.
No, because he was being smart. He purposely did not. Well, I mean, it was hard to pass yesterday, but even if he did get a run on the 47, he's not passing him. In that situation, there's just no reason to. You're putting yourself at risk. Like,
I don't think you would. I don't think Stenhouse would wreck him at Pocono, though. I guess you're saying he might do what Hamlin did the Chastain at Pocono.
Yeah, make it look
that's possible.
smart. Like, oops, I accidentally didn't give you enough room. Sorry. Like, it's just, if I was in the 77 car, I'm not passing that 47. He was actually playing that really smart, to be honest with you. Okay. I think if we don't hear from him at the front of the pack for like 3 races in a row, then maybe you're right. And of course, Carson was under a lot of criticism this week for stuff he said off the track, because Twitch streams are the places where we hear the greatest opinions.
And by the way, since you brought that up, I'm glad Carson apologized for it, and it was actually a genuine apology. And he was saying he needs to do better, not just listening to what other people around him are saying.
Yeah, that's something a lot of young people do.
Yes, and he formed his own opinion when he actually went down to Mexico City, and he realized that was not the truth.
Right.
So
there's something weird about Carson, because he's like a kid, but he's not a kid. Like, he's young and he's stupid, and he's still learning, right? When I was 22, I was young and stupid, but you're also still an adult. And not only are you an adult, but you are a race car driver. So you still have to accept responsibility, and I'm glad he did that. And I'm glad Spire did something about it, because it sounds like Spire did something so that NASCAR didn't have to, in terms of consequences. So,
well, I think Spire did something to kind of be a warning to the people you likely heard that from within Spire. Yeah, to be hey, watch what you're saying.
I mean, that was ridiculous, especially he had a Mexican sponsor on his car. How Carson to me, I don't know how to explain it. Just sometimes he just doesn't think things through before he does or says things. But again, he's just young and stupid.
That's something you do a lot, when you're 22. I mean, Zach, we started this podcast when we were both 21, 22.
Worst mistake of my life. But
think about it. We are very different people from when we started this podcast to now, and we were roughly Carson's age when we started this. So I mean, he's going to keep growing as a person, and stuff like this is good for him to go through and learn.
Yeah.
Well,
I've seen
someone else who I'm not sure if he's growing and learning is Jeremy Bolins.
I thought you were going to say Brad Keselowski. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. Brad Keselowski finishes 9th, but
listen, this is not all on Jeremy Bolins though. We'll get to Brad though. We'll get to Brad. Let's talk about Jeremy Bolins. No, we'll talk about Brad in a minute. So what did Jeremy Bolins do? Because you have history in terms of being a Jeremy Bolins hater. You have a deep history in this.
So the 6th car was in the lead under yellow, and Jeremy Bolins calls Brad down pit road while pit road is closed. It is not open. And the 6th car is the only car in the pits. And Jeremy Bolins wow, we're the only one who pitted.
Great strategy, guys. We really got him this time.
I thought more people were going to pit. Wow. Pit road was closed, Jeremy. It was closed. Anyway, if you followed Ryan Blaney for a long time, this is not out of the ordinary for Jeremy Bolins. He made horrible calls with the 12 time and time again. I actually think he delayed Blaney's driver development. I think it actually hurt his personal growth as a driver. Because he was with them
I think until 2021. It was 2018 through 2021 maybe.
Oh my god.
It was a long time.
Very long time.
Yeah.
Just awful calls all the time. I can't give you a specific example because I blocked it out in my head. And it's been a long time ago now. But I remember our friend Brooke. I would text Brooke post with Brooke on Twitter and be he did it again. He just made an awful call again. And I remember when RFK announced they hired Bolins, I was oh, thank God he's out of Penske. But why would Brad do that? They had a lot of success together in the Xfinity series when Brad was in the 22 discount tire car.
Yeah, beating up all those kids in the Xfinity series, I would have a lot of success too. I don't think Jeremy was actually cooking up that much Brad.
So before we get to what one of our Patreon members had to say, what is your defense of Jeremy Bolins? You had one, it sounds like.
No, I'm not defending Jeremy Bullins. I just don't want him
Okay.
to get all of the blame because one, they messed up twice yesterday. The whole 6 team, they messed up with the
Mhm.
pit road thing, but then also they had the lead, or they had not the lead, but they had really good track position before that final green flag stop. And at Pocono, it's the reverse of other tracks because since the track is so long, pitting early is actually kind of an advantage because you'll like skip, like you won't go a lap down.
Yeah.
So Jeremy calls Brad to pit road, and Brad says, "Are you sure? I'm going to run one more." And then Shane Van Gisbergen wrecks, and the caution comes out. That's not Jeremy's fault. That's Brad's fault. Also, Brad is the one driving the car, and he's the one that can see the flashing red light at pit road entry.
That is true. And I did see that apparently Carson Hocevar and Denny Hamlin saw Brad was doing that. So they were pretending to follow him for a minute so he wouldn't realize he was making a mistake.
Yes, I love that. I think that is
That's awesome.
Like Denny Hamlin doing that is so like 2000 IQ. Denny Hamlin's been in this sport for years. He's like, he's gonna trip up another veteran. Like, that's so cool. And then Carson Hocevar is like, "Oh, I'm gonna help you trick him too."
That's so funny.
like, bro, we really got him, dude. It's like Denny's like, "This wasn't my idea." No, yeah. So that's why I don't want to like put it all on Jeremy, because Brad,
fair enough.
I'm like, Brad, we've seen Brad do some like, I feel like Brad's just had a weird year. Like anytime that 16 gets an opportunity, something goes wrong.
Yeah.
Yesterday was quite an embarrassing look for that 6 team. And remember, as they expanded to the 60 car this year to a 3-car team, Brad got a new crew chief, so he picked Jeremy Bullins. So it's a little bit of a snowball effect.
May I remind you where Jimmy Bullins came from a year ago, Zach?
Was he with Harrison Burton?
He was with Harrison Burton. And
he won a race. Hot damn.
Yeah, Daytona. I have to wonder, would Harrison Burton have at least been a little better with a different crew chief? I'm just asking a question.
He probably would have like ran like in the top 30. I'm thinking.
I know we're really piling on Jeremy Bullins here, but this is hilarious to me.
You have you have a history.
I have a vendetta against this.
Today's the bad crew chief like episode. We were talking about James Small. Now we're talking about and we're talking about drivers making mistakes. Listen to your crew chief. Okay, listen. James Small said, "Go when I say go." Chase Briscoe didn't listen. And then Brad didn't listen to go. Y'all need to listen to your crew chief. I think that's the key problem, Alex. They're not listening to their crew chief.
Well, Patreon member Finley says Jeremy Bullins should be fired. Leading the race with clean air at Pocono should be an easy race win, and it was, as we saw with Briscoe. Finley goes on to say, giving that up due to a mistake means somebody's head should roll. Thoughts?
What does that mean? Head should roll?
That someone should, it's a figure of speech, that someone should just be paying the price for that.
Yeah, you need to listen to your crew chief unless his name is Jeremy Bullins.
I'm going to give Jeremy Bullins flop of the week. I think it's well deserved. I do agree with you. He's not solely to blame, but like, come on. This is I was laughing so hard. Did you see the replay when they showed Jeremy Bullins? He's like,
yes.
No one's on pit road, and then he's like, oh.
You could see the disappointment overcome. I thought they were talking.
That was great.
The teardown was talking about how like the culture has changed in terms of like drivers used to be able to like kind of like input into the strategy a little bit, but now with like how everything's so complicated with the fuel strategy and stages, it's like like let the crew chief cook. Like, because even like I know sometime this weekend it was during the Xfinity race with one of the drivers, they were asking their crew chief, "Wait, so what's the plan? Why did we just pit?"
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like it gets confusing with stages. Just shut up and listen to your crew chief. They have more information. Just drive the car.
Right.
So.
Well, Zach, are we ready to talk about the playoff cut line? Because
I am. I'm glad you brought that up because I think I've been missing talking about this. It's one of my favorite things to do.
You said that we should start talking about it. I was going to wait a little bit longer, but you said that we should start talking about it.
There we go. I guess
so.
Will be right.
For our audio people, we have the points pulled up for our video people. Oh.
No, we don't. It's me. I'm trying to get it so that we're like on the side, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm just going to keep it like this.
Okay. Yeah, this works.
Sorry.
So Taking a look at the grid here, we have Chase Elliott plus 160. He's probably fine, but we might have more winners. We'll see. Reddick plus 107. 2311. All three of them had brake issues. Pretty crazy.
Reddick did too?
Reddick's brakes were like overheating. That's why he was like several laps down.
He probably... Oh, I didn't pay attention to that. Yeah, he probably had to baby them. Weird how like, I mean, we talk about how these cars are like all equal and it's a spec series, yet like the teams can still do enough with the setups apparently to where one's brakes are just not being taken care of. That's really interesting to me. Bubba is only plus 29. Like he's really getting close to that cut line there. We were just talking about Brad Keselowski. His teammate Chris Buescher is plus 38. He ran second for a lot of this race. He finished fourth.
Yeah.
He's kind of having that summer, like, I don't know what you would call it, but he always like kind of heats up in the summer. It seems like the last couple of years.
I don't know if he heats up in the summer because I feel like, I don't know. But my thing is,
he's having good runs again, though.
Well, yeah, the last few weeks, I mean, if you talk about the fastest cars the last few weeks, you talk about Hamlin, Byron, Hocevar, and Buescher. Yeah. I mean, they have just been consistently running up front. And Chris Buescher, if they keep up this performance, well, I say that, but we're about to go to a bunch of road courses, which Chris is good at least.
He's good at road courses.
But what I'm saying is we're going to a bunch of wild card races like Atlanta and Chicago.
Yeah.
Where, you know, it's like that's going to break up the momentum.
Bad luck could end up breaking the momentum.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
But again, though, Chris Buescher is really good at Sonoma. He's probably good at Chicago too. And he's won on super speedways before. So these also could just be where he gets that win.
Yeah.
You know, it's technically an opportunity. My question is this where the cut line's going to stay? Because we have 11 winners already. And I don't know who would be below Kyle Busch in the points, but like, well, Hocevar won.
Keselowski's down there. Hocevar.
Keselowski, I won't say you can ever count Keselowski out. Or even Allmendinger.
This would be a big weekend for Keselowski.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah. He's got this in Daytona as like really big chances. So, and we kind of saw that last year with like what Chase Briscoe, Harrison Burton. You almost have to assume the cut line is below Tyler Reddick. But
honestly,
you can't though, because you can't just throw points away. Like I just would not want to play this as the 23 team because another new winner yesterday, Chase Briscoe. Now Chase Briscoe's locked in. That's one less spot. Like,
and Briscoe was around, I believe, where Bubba is in points, or maybe a little bit higher, like toward Reddick. But
yeah, so this is going to get really interesting because there's still. I think most of the heavy hitters are either above the bubble or have already won.
Oh yeah,
I guess. But
your champions are probably in blue, if not like Reddick or Elliott. So
there's also still like Ty Gibbs. Like, is he gonna win?
He's good on the road courses. He ran toward the front at Pocono.
He was play at Michigan.
He was The thing, like Pocono, Michigan are done. Like those kind of tracks are done for the year.
Indy,
true.
Well, I don't know. We'll see because we saw last year it's so unpredictable, and you just kind of have to hope.
Yeah. We were talking about Buescher. His teammate Ryan Preece is minus 20. Alex Bowman is plus 20 on the cut line, last one in. Back to RFK, though. All three of their cars got in the top 10 again. That's 2 races in a row. And before that, I believe the last 10 was 2016.
They are here to upset that JGR Penske Hendrick stranglehold, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because they've been winning, it feels like, all the races. Even though they haven't, but like it feels like it. And RFK though, to show up with all 3 of your cars in the top 10, like not just once but twice, that's speed.
That's big.
Like that is what we in the industry called speed. Like,
yeah,
we talk crap about Brad, but Brad, he won at Darlington last year. He knows what he's doing. Ryan Preece is so quietly just here. Remember Talladega? He got that penalty and lost all those points.
That's true. Yeah.
They are the most quietly impressive team in the sport right now, I feel like. Because they really don't get talked about that much as threat to win races because they haven't won. They haven't won a race yet.
Yeah.
Which is crazy with their performance lately.
The last one I want to highlight here is Eric Jones, who's minus 62. Legacy Motor Club has very quietly, dramatically improved in about the last month or two.
Yes.
They were both Jones and John Hunter Nemechek were in the top 10 a lot of this race. John Hunter Nemechek finished 6th, and Eric Jones finished 13th. They're getting better. Like, I'm really impressed with their improvement.
Yeah.
I don't know if Eric Jones can like make the playoffs, but I mean, he's there.
No, my thing is like Allmendinger on back. I don't know if you can play the points game because the cut line, if anything, the cut line's just going to move up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Unless Allmendinger, they might do what they did that one year and send him to Road America. Remember when they did that? He missed Richmond practice in qualifying, race Xfinity.
I remember that.
But yeah, it's gonna be a hard fight for the points in these next 9 races, I guess. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough fight. I'm glad I don't participate in it because I would be stressed out.
Another name I don't see here that kind of goes into our next topic, Daniel Suarez is not on the board.
Yeah, that's expected. Are you surprised? I think if you're surprised about that, then you have not been paying attention.
I'm not surprised, but I mean,
he is not a top 20 guy.
Let's move into our next topic, though, because Shane Van Gisbergen won Mexico City, and Connor Zilisch just got his first oval. I know it's a triangle.
It's an oval. What is wrong with y'all? It's literally an oval. What do you mean?
People were getting so mad. It's like it's
Pride
an
Month.
oval. Calm down.
Are you really going to do that during Pride Month? You're going to disrupt Pocono Raceway's identity during Pride. It's a mother loving oval.
But before we talk about Connor Zilisch's crew chiefs, we've talked about crew chiefs a lot today. Daniel Suarez, I know he won the Xfinity race in Mexico, but
cool moment for him. To be honest, though, I never really felt like that was like a this is a career saving moment because it's an Xfinity race. That was more of like this is your feel good moment, Daniel. You're about to get fired, but hey, this is your feel good moment. Because literally, though, it's just so ironic that SVG and Zilisch, the two guys that are possibly going to replace him, or not replace him, but competing for that seat, for that seat, have really big wins, even maybe bigger wins, like bigger milestones. Because Connor Zilisch getting his first oval win, SVG getting his first win as a full-time driver, like those are really big deals.
Yeah.
So any momentum Suarez had, it's gone. I thought that was a really interesting point. But I think at this point, is anyone really expecting Suarez back in the 99 next year?
I think it'd be kind of silly.
Well,
personally.
I mean, it depends what they want to do with Zilisch. Because if they want to keep Zilisch in Xfinity for one more year and let Suarez, I don't know, especially if they go back to Mexico next year and just let Suarez stay in the 99 for one more year, which seems stupid.
They could run the 87 for Suarez at Mexico.
I guess. That's good.
We talked about this on the Mexico episode. Just like him being full time, it's really important. But at the same time, it's like the results just aren't there.
Because I think Suarez he's great for Xfinity. He would be so happy in Xfinity. He would do great. Kind of like Eric Almirola. Eric Almirola only did part time, but I almost wonder if he's going to be not like Corey LaJoie, but cup or bust. I want a cup ride.
Right.
Which, fair enough.
We'll find out pretty soon, I imagine. But Connor Zilisch had an interesting name atop of his pit box, and that was Dale Earnhardt Jr., who won on debut as a crew chief in the
That's my man.
Series.
That's my man right there.
That's so
Dale
cool.
Earnhardt Jr. winning crew chief of the number 88. Oh, at Pocono. Cool. At Pocono, the same track where Dale won because of his genius crew chief, Steve Letarte, 11 years prior. Yep. Twice. I love how it was at Pocono.
Now,
all the connections.
I love that the CW really focused in on this.
If you're complaining about that, you can literally kiss my ass.
When does this happen? Jr. This never happens. The only time that I can recall this happening is in Cars 1 and Cars 2 or Cars 3. That's the only time I've ever seen this happen. Our fictional movies.
Listen, I mean, I don't know. I'm a Dale Jr. fan that grew up with the Dale Jr. in-race report, updating him running 26th in 2009.
Sponsored by Nationwide Insurance.
I am 110% biased when I say this.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to talk about it. They're going to make it a big deal. I do not care. Just enjoy it. It's Dale
cool.
Jr. Dale Jr. has done so much for this sport. See, I'm just glazing him now. But Dale Jr., he's just, how can you be mad at what Dale Jr. does? Ever. He's Dale Jr.
And the thing is he's still like really humble about it. Like he's not
so
like,
humble about it.
I'm gonna go do this because I said so. It's like, no, like the regular crew chief for Zilisch got suspended for like a loose lug nut or whatever.
Yeah.
So
and Dale
they needed someone to do it. And
he wasn't pretending that like he was like, oh, we got all this figured out because I'm so smart. Like he had a lot of help on the box and probably, back in Charlotte.
He sounded really terrified about it. Like he sounded really nervous.
And he had to catch the tire. Like he had to help out on the pit stop.
Yeah.
Because I guess they were short on guys. Like, because of the suspensions. Like it's just such a cool moment to see someone, the most popular figure in our sport, to do something so cool and to win.
Yeah.
Right. With, by the way, the next generation.
Right.
The next generation, like it's honestly like 2 generations behind him. That is so cool. I don't know how you don't think that's cool.
I loved it.
It was just a feel good moment. I'm glad CW shoved it in our face because
I'll be honest, that's the only reason I followed the Xfinity race as close as I did. So honestly, I wanted to see how this went.
And I was really invested in hoping Connor Zilisch won, and I'm glad that's such a special storybook moment.
Your stream was like way behind, I just have CW on my antenna, so I was just watching it, and I was texting you and like, oh, you're ahead. And when he was like, Connor took the lead, I stopped texting you and like wanted to see your reactions. I wanted you to have that moment, like genuinely.
New leader 88.
Oh, I was so happy for you.
Take me back 10 years ago. Cool. Oh my God. See, it's just such a feel good story for anyone who's been a fan of NASCAR.
And also, Dale had his kids there, and Dale said himself, they're not going to know him as a race car driver. And he got to celebrate a win with them. I love that.
That's true, because he never really, he hasn't won. That's true. He hasn't won a race in any capacity. Well, he runs as a team owner, but that's like different. Like when you're like on an individual team, and
he said himself that when you're a crew chief, you're contributing to it. When you're the team owner, you're kind of just like standing there, like, good job, guys.
You're just watching.
Like you funded that, but
chief, when you're crew chiefing, you can make the wrong decision. And also, he was like coaching Connor in the car, apparently. Like that voice being in Connor's ear, because he's normally not on the radio much, apparently. So
very cool.
I just think that's cool.
Moving on, Amazon Prime, their first NASCAR stint has come to a close, and I am very sad about it. And is this the first time that a broadcaster's TV coverage has ended and people are like actually sad about it? Like even when NBC, their peak, I'm not like sad when the season ends. I'm like, oh, thank God.
I think that was also because the season. I think I was like, thank God the season's over.
Yeah.
But I mean, for NBC, it was like 20 races. I think this Prime thing, I mean, part of it is we only had them for 5 races, but I'm just saying if Prime had a 20 race stint, I don't know if we'd be sick of them. I mean, this is some of the best broadcasting. And I said this before, the best broadcast for NASCAR I've ever seen. And I think part of that is they're covering NASCAR as it should be in 2025, because Steve Letarte is a big reason for it, I feel like.
Yes, 1,000%.
There's this newer age fuel strategy that I feel like, honestly, I did not really pay attention to until kind of around Kansas. Larry McReynolds was kind of getting into it a little bit on Fox, but he didn't really like hammer it in. I feel like he didn't hammer it home. Like, this is what the fuel strategy is, blah, blah, blah. But Steve Letarte hammered it home. He talked about the fuel tax. He's like a teacher. He's literally like a teacher. He uses a term. He repeats it. He uses it every single week, every race, because it was basically a factor in every race. Steve Letarte's presenting this new age fuel strategy, because you change tires so quick. You wait on fuel for most of your pit stops. The way he presented it, I feel like it just made me think that stuff like Fox. I feel like Fox is still trying to cover NASCAR races like it's 2010. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's kind of my point.
And I think Larry McReynolds is very capable of being like an equivalent to Steve Letarte, but also at the same time, that's what I was just going to say. Letarte was crew chiefing up till 2014, And Larry McReynolds was out 14 years before that in 2000.
And so Larry's done some things with like, I think like an ARCA car,
and
but like,
I think Larry is probably Fox's best person, but Steve Letarte is just like way above, and it's just
sets the
outstanding. Yeah.
That needs to be the standard. And also Fox, I mean, do they have a crew chief in the booth? No, unless you put Dale Jr. in there. They had 2 crew chiefs in the booth yesterday. They had 2 winning crew chiefs in the booth yesterday.
They did.
No, like, but Fox, they have 2 drivers and Mike Joy. Yes, you have Larry in his little booth, but you're only throwing it to him every now and then. Like, Steve having such a presence does not let you forget about the strategy. And in these races, strategy is everything. You need a crew chief. You need a crew chief in the booth in this era of NASCAR. This is not the time to have 2 drivers.
Strategy like every week. Yeah.
Strategy is what determines these races. We're not passing on the track. Sorry, this is F1 now. Low key. Like, you need a crew chief in the booth. It's like, and Fox needs to figure something out.
Since we're comparing Fox and Prime, Jeff Gluck's good race poll, this would be 80% no if it was on Fox. Like, no question. Maybe even more.
Yeah.
Like, the broadcast is it
salvages a lot.
Level. I was really invested in this race. I know there was not a pass for a lead pretty much the entire race, but like it was still really fun.
Yesterday was kind of the breaking point for me. But I don't put on Prime because, again, a lot of bad races were just made worse by Fox. I'd be like, Fox isn't even showing anything interesting. I bet there's something going on in the pack, but there's nothing going on up front. With, I guess with Prime 2, like Nashville, I didn't feel like complaining about because I'm like, you know what? The first few stages were good. Prime made it interesting.
Yeah,
Pocono was just kind of reached the limit for me. That's just my opinion, but that's not on Prime.
And our patron member Dylan says he wishes Prime would stay just a bit longer. And this TV deal only goes to like 2031 with the positive reception. I know it's several years out, but I wonder if Prime will end up getting more races for 2032.
God, you know what I want? Here's my perfect world. I think I want a 12-24 split. I want 12 races on NBC. Do that, your big crown jewel races. And I know maybe Prime wouldn't be happy with that because, like, we want the Coke 600, whatever. But put the big races that, like, you know, non-NASCAR fans would watch. So maybe all the super speedways, your crown jewel races, put those on NBC. Let's get our Lee Diffie going, right? Where we get to listen to Lee Diffie call NASCAR races. Maybe do even more than 12 races if you want to give them the playoffs too. Every other single mother-loving race needs to be on Prime. Every other race. Because I like NBC. But I think, and we're about to find this out real quick next week at TNT. I think a lot of why Prime is good is because it's streaming.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that TNT...
There's a lot more flexibility in what they can do.
The best that TNT can do, they could have the exact same type of production. They're going to have the same people like in the actual booth, but production's going to be different. The people making the choices with the cameras are going to be different. We can hope that that's going to be just as good, but the commercials... Who's to say what the commercials are going to be like?
I feel like I have not watched a commercial in the last 5 weeks. Like, they've been on, obviously.
We haven't missed anything.
Yeah.
like
it has not been a big factor, and we're going to have to go back to that. But it's going to be really, like, it's going to be more like an FS1 race. Won't be like a big NBC or Fox race in terms of advertisements.
Those commercials are stupid. And that's another thing when people say like side-by-side commercials, no, they can't do that. Blah, blah, blah. Like I go on YouTube and if I pause it, I get a side-by-side commercial now. Like, it's 2025. And that's kind of my point with Amazon Prime and NASCAR. It is 2025 and it finally feels like it when I watch a NASCAR race, at least these last 5 weeks.
Yep.
And it makes me not feel embarrassed to show.
And a lot of people bring up like the post-race show, the pre-race show, and other networks, they don't have like the time slots to do it. Prime has no time slots and go as long as they want or as short as they want. And it's excellent. TNT is going to have a 30-minute pre-race show. I don't know about post-race.
Post-race, it will depend how much they wreck on the green white checkers.
Yep. And that's kind of how it boils down for like the regular TV.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, but
I will say though, I mean, because I haven't watched the post-race show, before Prime, I I can't remember last time I watched
love
the
it.
post race show. The Prime one adds a lot, and it's going to be missed. And especially for the playoffs, like the playoffs need a post race show.
I'm going to say this, and then we'll move on to TNT. Carl Edwards is going to be severely missed during the TNT part because he's not doing TNT, just
Really?
Prime.
Okay.
He is a phenomenal analysis, and it's such a shame that Carl Edwards thought he wouldn't be welcome back in the sport after he abruptly left in 2016.
Stop! You're gonna make me cry.
If he didn't feel that way and he got into TV like right away in 2017, he'd be like one of the best analysts in history.
God, he'd be at Fox instead of Clint.
He'd be in Fox.
Damn it, Carl!
He's just outstanding. Like his analysis is just so good. Love
Fox needs to get Carl in the booth with Kevin, but they'll never do that.
They won't do that.
And another thing with the post race show that, like, remember Martinsville last year, that complete madness? I need Carl Edwards up on that stage after that race, helping us process what just happened.
Yeah.
Let him tear into NASCAR. When Denny Hamlin retires, I hope he gets on TV. Denny Hamlin would not. Oh, he'll be a team owner, I guess. That would be kind of weird.
Kyle Busch, though, I think is possibly going to go the route. Kyle Busch is in the Xfinity booth this weekend, by the way.
Oh, that's going to be amazing, because what race did Kyle call? Like, it was one of the, I don't know. He's so good in the booth. He's so underrated in the booth.
I'll have to watch it this weekend.
It was Vegas, the Vegas Xfinity race, I think. He's so good. God.
Well, we talked a lot about it a little bit, but NASCAR and TNT returns for the first time since 2014 this Saturday night at Atlanta.
And Adam Alexander's on the call. Oh my God. It's like we're in 2014 right now. This is great.
Different production team, as we said, than Prime. Prime is mostly NBC, by the way. Similar on-air team. Daniel Trotta, instead of like doing pre- and post-race shows, she's going to be in the pits. Alan Cavana is going to be in the pits. I really like the pit team. They got Marty Snyder as well. The races will be streamable on HBO Max, as well as practice and qualifying. Throughout the rest of the year, practice qualifying will be on HBO Max, except I believe the championship race at Phoenix. So that's interesting.
What do you mean? Like the championship race won't be what?
The championship practice and qualifying.
Oh, that's because it's on NBC. I think it's on NBC.
Just like how Fox had Daytona 500.
That makes sense. Okay, got it.
And then the NASCAR In-Season Challenge begins this weekend. I don't know if I'm excited for this or not. Maybe in the moment I will
think they kind of ruined it with the seeding process.
Yeah, I didn't follow any of that.
There's some stupid seedings where it's like guys that are lower seeded than their matchup. Yeah. But they're clearly better, like Byron versus somebody. Like, they should have just done it by point standings instead of like the best finish in the last 3 races. That was a huge controversy that... I mean, we didn't really bring it up because it wasn't that big of a deal, but it's just, I think that took a lot of the wind out of the sails with this bracket thing.
And but maybe when it gets going, it'll kind of come back. Because like last year, this was like a big talk with like Denny Hamlin did his own.
They did the classic NASCAR thing of gimmicking it up too much. Again, with the seating, like maybe once it gets going, as you say, and hell, we're going to a super speedway and 2 road courses. It's going to be kind of gimmicked up anyways and a little silly. I have a really unpopular opinion. Are you ready to hear it?
Yeah.
I think winning this tournament should give you the rewards of winning a race. So 5 playoff points.
I'd be fine with that. Sure.
Okay, really? Because I feel like, I don't know, just add a little bit of something extra. Like, kind of like, I don't know, just 5 playoff points and maybe you're locked in the playoffs.
Okay, I was just going to ask that. Would it also include that? Okay. I'd be fine with that.
I don't know that you got to be careful though, because what if like Ricky Stenhouse just like stumbles his way to winning this? So I might change because I mean, I don't know. You're just fighting one guy every single week. It could just, I don't know. You could just
maybe not the playoff. Maybe not the playoff guarantee then.
Maybe you get playoff point. I don't know. I just feel like there should be some actual real season reward.
I agree. 100%.
Why not? It's NASCAR. Let's have fun. If you're going to have a stupid championship format, then let's make it stupider.
Some notable
putting ears on Mickey Mouse, as someone once said. Like literally.
Some notable matchups for Atlanta include Blaney versus Hocevar. That's going to be interesting. Kyle Busch versus Brad Keselowski.
Remember Blaney and Hocevar at Atlanta earlier this year? So
Alex Bowman versus Joey Logano. Kyle Larson versus Tyler Reddick.
Busch and Keselowski, girl, give me a damn drink. That's gonna be good.
So these are the tracks for TNT
Busch-
and the Challenge: Atlanta, Chicago, Sonoma, Dover, and the Brickyard 400. So I believe it's just 2 drivers will be left for Indy, and then whoever finishes better wins it at the end there.
I wonder what I wonder what 2 drivers it's gonna be, because what if they're fighting for the win at the Brickyard?
Dude, that'd be cool.
I don't know. Then we
We'll
have
see.
to pretend. Well, then we have to pretend to care that we care about the champion, the tournament. I don't know,
We'll
because if
see.
you're fighting for the win of the Brickyard, do you care about the?
I'd put the
in-season
Brickyard
tournament?
over that. Well, yeah, we'll see how TNT is and everything, but let's get into IndyCar at Road America. Alex Palou won again. This time it was in pretty interesting fashion.
It wasn't how he normally wins races. To be
No.
fair,
He was not on the main strategy. He had the save fuel, and Fox was not following it. We'll talk about that in a second. It was annoying. But this race was probably the best race in the hybrid era on a road course. Like, best road course race in the hybrid era.
and to be fair, now that I think about it, this was like the last track that we haven't raced at with the hybrid. Because remember, it debuted at Mid Ohio last year, and that's our
Right.
next race.
You're right.
So
Yeah.
and that makes sense. And also, Road America is like, well, I'll get to
The
that in a
goat.
minute. Road America is just a really good track, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Mm-hmm. Well, Alex Palou saved enough fuel. Over halfway through the season, no wins for anyone besides Alex Palou and Kyle Kirkwood still. Palou is 93 points ahead of Kyle Kirkwood. And Scott Dixon pitted 2 laps earlier than Palou. He was not able to save enough. I thought that would have been hilarious if Dixon managed to save that much fuel at Road America, this
That would've been
massive
really-
track.
That would have been really cool, because 2 laps is incredible, honestly. And I don't know if they were on the exact same fuel plan before that 2 laps, but basically Palou outdid what Scott Dixon has done best the last few years, and that's save fuel. I think that's a passing of the torch moment, low key.
Low key. And we were just talking about this. Like, is Alex Palou going to be better than Scott Dixon? Like, I know it's just like one instance.
I mean, he
It's
already
like another,
basically is.
it's
he's
another
one-
sign of like, oh,
Yeah.
pass of the torch here.
And another thing with I guess Palou, kind of getting into it a little bit, is he had the draft from Dixon most of the entire last run, and I don't know how
Yep.
much that plays a factor. Still, 2 laps is like a huge difference. Like at Road America,
Yep.
that's 8 miles. That's a huge difference. I mean,
Yep.
I can't imagine what goes into that, but kind of similar to what we talked about with Chase Briscoe. It's not easy to save fuel and also go fast. Like, anytime I'm in iRacing and I'm trying to do it, it's hard. So props
And
to Ganassi.
You mentioned that this is like the first time at Road America with the hybrid and everything. This
Well-
track Road America, I think, is just naturally a good, fantastic racetrack. And it sets up for more proper racing where you're not relying on your car as much.
Kind of. Like,
Kind of.
well, let's look at the road courses in the IndyCar schedule, because it's a lot of tracks where it's got a lot of like flowy rhythm sections without a lot of straightaways. I feel like Barber, Mid Ohio. No, Mid Ohio has like a straightaway. But
A lot of the street courses.
like Thermal, the street courses, I'm not even going to talk about them because those are different. Those are different. What's a Portland? Even Portland's got like a really big technical section before you get back to the front stretch. Road America is set up, and it's one of the most popular American road courses for a reason. It's just set up. It's set up for good racing. You have like at least 3 big straightaways that lead into passing zones, and we saw all 3 being used yesterday. It was also very hot yesterday. I wonder if that had something to do with it, because there's just lower grip for everybody. I wonder if that had something to do with it.
Yeah.
And we also, I feel like, saw drivers get really desperate yesterday. Maybe it's because
Will Power was making some crazy moves.
crazy dive bombs.
And then Kyle
yeah.
Kirkwood gave it back to him, and Power said Kirkwood should get penalized for that. But I agree with James Hinchcliffe what he said. That was just racing.
They laughed. Remember the booth laughed? They were like, okay, Will. I think sometimes, honestly, lately, I think Will Power's just trolling all of us.
You think so?
I think his thing at Detroit was so ridiculous. I'm like, he's just trolling us at this point. I think he knows he's probably not coming back, and he literally is just like, I'm gonna have fun since y'all ain't letting me back. I don't know.
Can I counter with that really quick?
Yes.
I think he might get a 1-year deal, and then Malukas gets to 12 and 27.
Yeah,
That
whatever.
I don't know anything, but that's just like I think what's actually going to happen. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but back to Road America though, and we saw Will Power and his moves. We saw Joseph and Palou were having a really good battle early in the race. It's just one of the actual few road courses on the IndyCar schedule that I feel like is set up for good racing.
Yeah, definitely.
The only other one, and you're going to hate me for this, the only other one that's set up for good racing is the Indianapolis road course. I just don't think a lot of the road courses just suck on the IndyCar schedule. Like the more I think about it,
I've never liked Mid-Ohio.
it just feels like it's a track
like
that's
Barber.
fun to drive, and it's Barber's like a track that's fun to drive in. Barber's actually had some pretty good racing, but a lot of that is from guys making desperate moves. And yesterday at Road America, not only is the track good, but we just saw desperate moves yesterday, and we've seen that before at Road America. Remember, like I think it was 2022 or 2023, banger race at Road America. It's been the best road course in IndyCar for a few years.
For
I
a
feel
while.
like.
Yeah,
And I'm glad we go here. Like it's why it's so popular with the fans that go there. It's why they stood out in that 100-degree heat yesterday. It's some of the best racing that we get on the IndyCar calendar. It puts F1 to shame. Like it's really good open wheel racing.
Yeah.
It makes me forget that we don't have enough ovals on the schedule because that's good racing, honestly.
Gateway and Road America was the kind of momentum swing IndyCar really needed.
Yes,
to turn the season around.
Races.
I know we're going to Mid-Ohio, which is probably going to be whatever, and then Iowa, that track, the way they NASCAR messed with that corner to kind of ruin the racing.
I don't know if they fixed Iowa at this point.
I don't think they did. I don't think they did. So that might be a rough weekend too. But we really needed some good races this year because Detroit was kind of good in an entertainment way, but Gateway and Road America were good in a racing way.
Yes.
And it was very refreshing.
Yes, that's why I always say IndyCar needs to go to more like classic American road courses like Watkins Glen, like, I don't know, Sebring or Road Atlanta or something. Just really good road courses.
Yeah.
It's quality.
Well,
don't go to Thermal Club.
We just talked, please don't. We just talked a lot of positive about IndyCar, but Zach, it's too bad Fox Sports doesn't know how to cover strategy.
What is going on? I don't know why I'm shocked because we see how they cover NASCAR races, and this is, to me, this is not just a NASCAR on Fox problem. There is something with the direction, and it's not even. I don't even think it's the same people like directing the races because when the races were going on at the same time, obviously you have to have two different teams.
Yeah.
So what is going on? Because they just don't understand that like racing. Someone tweeted to me over the weekend. It's like, Fox should literally just cover the NHRA. Just 3 seconds of action. They don't have to cover anything. I'm glad you find that funny. They don't have to cover any strategy. They can just like talk about, whoa, isn't this cool?
That car's so fast.
They're going 300 million miles per hour. Get Michael Waltrip at the NHRA 4-wide nationals.
Oh my God.
Like,
that's perfect.
Gosh. Literally though.
No disrespect to the NHRA, but like, yeah, that's perfect.
That's literally perfect because Fox does not have what it takes to cover a serious motorsport. They don't. They obviously don't have what it takes, and I don't know what the disconnect is. I imagine it's got to be somebody behind in that booth making the decisions, the camera cuts, feeding information, because it's like, I don't know, James and Townsend and Will, like you would think they'd want to stay on top of strategy, but they're not.
James and Townsend were really good at talking about strategy on NBC.
Yeah.
So it's not them. There's a disconnect somewhere. And the only thing that makes sense would be Fox. And to the booth credit, they were trying to talk about strategy at the end there, but they were wrong. They kept saying there's no way Palou or Dixon can make it. Dixon didn't make it, but they were like, Palou ain't gonna make it. But then
they were acting like they didn't have pit reporters.
And
oh my God.
And they kept having Jack Harvey. Jack Harvey kept coming in like, yeah, they were very coy down here. It's like, did you not?
Okay. And actually, no. One second thought, that makes sense because they're not going to tell the TV.
I get it
plan
to an extent, but it's like Marty Snyder would have came in with an answer.
No,
You know what
I don't. No. Well, actually, you wait. If Jack Harvey asked me a question about my fuel, I'll be like, "Who is this guy?" If Marty Snyder asked me, I want to tell him my social security number. Like, I'm gonna tell him.
I know that came across as like a diss to Jack Harvey. That's not what I meant. But it was just like NBC would find the answer, I feel like, because they would follow what was going on throughout the whole race.
Or they would have maybe data as well. But like the data shows that because Steve Letarte pulls up data, be like, according to my calculations, they are screwed. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's just a weird disconnect. And also, remember earlier when I said that NASCAR on Fox struggles because they don't have a crew chief in the booth? Maybe IndyCar on Fox is having that same kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe James and Townsend. I mean, I know Townsend has plenty of TV experience, but maybe they rely on outside direction to talk about whatever they talk about.
Right.
And that's why they're not bringing up strategy as much.
I know people don't like Townsend, but I still think he's okay. It's just like the actual things they're saying are kind of like
I know why y'all get annoyed with Townsend. I know why, but my standards are set so low by NASCAR on Fox. It's like I think he's fine. I don't know. He's a little cringe, but it could be worse.
He's the color commentator. He's supposed to be a little cringe and excited, overly excited. I don't know.
I like his turn 2. I love that. I love when he's.
I like his woes. I don't know.
Like, oh my gosh, I miss the woes. I feel like there's less woes since Lee Diffie's gone.
When Power and Kirkwood had their moment, that woe, like you would have thought he was reacting to like a major incident.
Will's kind of picked up on the woes. Actually, Will does a really good job screaming. It's like the Dale Jr. isms, like trouble turn 4. No, we gotta crash.
Yeah,
but Will's actually done a really good job. Like when Colton Herta flipped at Indy, he had a really good. Oh my god! Like,
yeah, God. No, I like Buxton. It's not the boost fall. I think you're right. It's just like they're not getting.
I don't know
data,
what it is,
and I think it's also the pit reporters are also not getting data, or not being told to go to the right places or something. There's a disconnect somewhere.
There's something, and those pit reporters. I mean. I don't know what Georgia did before, and Jack Harvey's obviously brand new.
Well, Kevin Lee's still Kevin Lee, and even
true.
he wasn't giving like the info. So it's like there's still.
Well, he might not have been in charge of Ganassi though. He might not have been in charge of that. Like I think they have separate sections on pit. I don't know because again, if I'm in Ganassi, I'm not telling the pit reporter my actual plan on fuel because that's going to affect what my opponent wants to do.
Right.
So even though they're teammates anyways, but I don't know if they have access to their data.
Well,
I don't know.
Staying on Fox for a minute, you also watched pre-race. I didn't have it on yet. Like I had it on, but I wasn't looking at TV. I forgot
about this.
There was a pre-race segment with Christian Rasmussen. You wanted to talk
I had to watch a Christian Rasmussen mukbang. They literally had a segment. I don't even know. It was like he was in the infield. You know, Road America has a lot of camping, probably a lot of people grilling and food. They're zooming in on Christian. Now, Christian Rasmussen, listen, he's just not my type. He's just, he looks like he hasn't slept. And he's just like, and they're showing him eating like, I don't know, some kind of meat or a hamburger or I don't even know. And it's like he's got ketchup on his face and they're zooming in on his mouth. It's like, oh my God, this is so gross. I can see his freckles covered in ketchup. Oh my God, it's gross. It's so disgusting. And then they cut right back to commercial after it. It's like, thanks for showing me that, Fox. I really feel pumped for the Expo Grand Prix at Road America. That's exactly what I need to know. Meanwhile, at Pocono, they're actually talking about what's going to happen in the race today on Prime. That was torture. That was like, I know y'all get on Joseph Newgarden's like milk little promo for the Indy 500 that one year, that milk thing. You know what I'm talking about, the bathtub one?
The
out of context, that sounds awful. I think I'd rather watch that than Christian Rasmussen's mukbang. That was torture. That was torture.
So, question for you, Zach. Are you giving flop of the week to Fox, IndyCar and Fox? Between that and the strategy misses?
Speaking of milk, I feel like IndyCar on Fox has aged like milk. My I wasn't that enthusiastic over them anyways. Like, remember at the beginning of the year, I was like, okay, they did all right, but it's not better than the BC, but they did all right. And now I'm like, girl, like
the cracks are showing. The fact they don't have like a little graphic that shows when they last pitted pisses me off.
Guess what? Prime had that
yesterday. They did
the race. There were so many strategies going on at Pocono.
And this Prime's like what, 5th race? Fox is like on what? Their
That's
7th,
the thing. It's
8th
like
now?
they still haven't learned how to show the tire compounds. They need to figure out the ticker. I feel like they made the ticker. God, Fox being based in LA around the entertainment industry. I think they get this idea of like they need to look cool instead of being functional. Like that's what the graphics feel like to me. I feel like the graphics look really cool, but they're not that functional. You know?
Well, the ticker's broken and delayed 90% of the time, too.
That's the thing. It's like, why is this happening?
They'll go to commercial and like they'll have the ticker like on side by side, and it's like 2 laps behind. I'm like, that is not where this driver is at. That is wrong. Just wrong info.
Another thing I noticed yesterday is I wish they would have like re-recorded the driver intros like for the starting grids. Like,
and I think the intro thing is cool, but yeah, like Will Powers, he's like, oh, I'm from Toowoomba, Australia. It's bad. His is really bad.
I'm David Malukas. I grew up in Chicago, Illinois.
It's like say your name and hometown.
Unless if you're Alex Palou, you get to add. Like if you're the defending champion, you get to ad lib because Alex Palou ate it up when he says, "Hello, I'm Alex Palou." Like he ate that up. He ate that up.
Kind of nailed the accent.
I did. Right. Like honestly, the only drivers that don't feel awkward are the Ganassi and the Penske drivers, probably because they have media training. Well, honestly, except Power. Power feels awkward, but Joseph feels good. Scotty feels good. Like I think I watched Christian Rasmussen. I don't know why I'm harping on him today. I'm sorry, Christian, but I saw some like random guy in the field introduce himself, and then it was Scott McLaughlin. And I'm like, that was such a big difference. Like that's the problem when NBC did that back in like 2020. They all felt cohesive. Like Kurt Busch from Las Vegas, Nevada, Alex Bowman from Arizona. Like they all felt cohesive. That doesn't feel cohesive in the car. I'm yapping. I'm sorry.
No, I get what you mean.
Y'all, we ended the episode. This is us post recording. We literally forgot to talk about the fact that Joseph Newgarden wrecked yesterday.
I just forgot. I totally forgot that.
No, we're biased Joseph Newgarden fans. We're trying to avoid the narrative. We're trying to make everyone forget.
It's literally in our doc. I don't know how we passed over it. We normally don't do that.
I think you just didn't want to talk about it. You were letting me yap about Road America.
It was not on my mind.
You were too busy talking about willpower. I don't know. I don't know, Alex.
Yeah, because I'm notably a big fan of willpower. But Joseph Newgarden was running second behind Dixon on that similar strategy because he pitted earlier than intended because he had his reds were just like really awful.
Yeah.
And he had to change his strategy. Came in and he was actually looking pretty good on a road course. He hasn't won now on a road course in over 3 years.
Yep.
And I was texting you. I was texting Brooke. I was texting Jackson. I'm texting everyone. I'm like, oh my God, he actually kind of looks good. We might get a top 10 today. I was like, oh, we might get a top 10.
He has not had this kind of form. And Road America, I feel like just, again, it fits Joseph's style. I talked about how Road America is just a really good racetrack in general. I think it just fits Joseph's style.
Yeah.
Drives really well there. Yesterday looked really, really promising.
It did. And then he crashed on the final corner. He spun out. All on him.
And listen, I've done that in iRacing before. You just get your rear wheel on the grass. It's keys. You're gone. It's such an easy thing to do. People are hitting that all day. They get so close to that grass. And if you just step over it a little bit, it's over. And I don't know. You almost wonder, like, is Joseph focused? I'm not trying to, like, put pressure on him. But I'm just saying, is Joseph really focused? Because that's a mistake that you just can't make. It's just, I don't know.
Frustrating. I mean, championship obviously not happening. It wouldn't happen even if it was like minus 100.
Honey, that boat left in March. Remember the Joseph championship boat? That left in March.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, when he gets that win, like, if he gets a win,
that's
win
the question
this year,
right now. I don't, is he?
That's never been a question for me in his like Penske tenure. It's like, whoa, kind of crazy. When he does get a win, because he's going to win again, it's going to be like a huge moment for like him and his fan base. It's like, oh my gosh, like finally.
Yeah, there's just no guarantees. Because my thing is also like Iowa is such a weird track now. It's not the same Iowa as we've had before.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just looking at ovals right now, and then we have Milwaukee,
And then
I don't
Nashville.
know. I don't remember how good he was at Milwaukee last year.
Milwaukee,
or
he
Nashville.
wasn't like the fastest, but he like
That's
hit
the thing.
wall.
His
at
best
Milwaukee.
oval is Gateway, and that's gone already. We don't
And he
have
was
Gateway.
probably going to win that.
We don't have Gateway to rely on anymore, so we're kind of just sitting here twiddling our thumbs. Like,
I mean, Iowa's arguably his best shot, but like that track's so different now.
how many races did Joseph win last year? Was it just Indy and Gateway?
Yep, the two I went to.
We're cooked. He might not win this year, Alex.
Yeah.
I'm honestly, Penske might not. Chevy might not. Chevy still hasn't
Chevy
won.
might not. Yeah.
Well, I kind of want to see how long that's going to go on. Hell, only 2 drivers have won. Like,
a lot of people are going to have a winless year, not just Joseph.
A lot of
but like
people
Joseph's
have not won this
performance.
year.
Joseph's
At least
performance
Joseph's
is
not
not
alone.
to his standard. Yeah.
Yeah. Scott Dixon hasn't won this year, and we don't see the pitchforks going on at him. So, yeah. We'll have to see what happens. But
anyway,
yeah,
let's
all right.
go back to us in the past.
All right. Bye, y'all.
One last thing, and then we'll move on to fantasy and wrap up the episode. IndyCar, they announced details of the 2028 car. It was, as we talked about, I think a week or two ago, it was delayed from 2027 to 2028.
I might have some loans paid off by then. Jesus. God.
So this car is going to weigh roughly 80 to 90 pounds less, thanks to the hybrid actually being intended to be built for this car.
Apparently,
So that'd
that's
be
going
nice.
to be the same weight as what it was before the hybrid, which is interesting. And as someone who's kind of into cars, I'm curious on how that's going to work. But
I think it's just because it's going to be like intended to be built. Like I think that's
it'll be more
literally it.
seamless.
Because
the
right
aero
now
screen
it's
will be
just plopped
seamless.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the aero screen won't have to be sitting on top of like another thing. I don't know how that works, but it kind of makes sense to me. It's gonna have slightly more power, so it's the same kind of engine. They're running twin turbo V6s or V6s. I don't know why I wrote V8. V6 engines, and I know some people were hoping it would be like V8. Would like bring the noise back, kind of like NASCAR. NASCAR runs V8s, but it's 2.4 liters instead of 2.2 liters, so it's just more powerful. Which, now this is good because the thing is, with the heavier car that they have now, I feel like one solution for it would have been more power. Now they're making the car less heavy and more powerful, so hopefully that should help the road course racing. And hell, shoot, what's this going to do for the Indy 500? And we're getting way ahead of ourselves because it's literally 3 years away.
And the other thing is, this thing's been delayed so many times. It might not even be 2028. This might be a 2030 thing.
Something about this might change. Oh, because they still got to do testing. Apparently, they're going to start testing early next year, which fair, I guess. Because here's the thing: you also don't want this to come out rushed. I mean, we criticized them. We criticized them on the hybrid for having it come out rushed. And I know this car has been needed for a few years, but if it's going to be in 2028, you know what? We'll wait for it, but it better be right. Like, take the time to get it right.
Yeah.
If that release is rushed, if you spend all this time and it releases with huge problems, girl.
Yeah. No partners or manufacturers were confirmed at this. Honda's contract ends at the end of 2026. We've talked about that before, that they're thinking about maybe leaving. They're dominating the season, so if they're leaving, they're in.
Honda is so messy.
They are.
Let me win every race and then keep it. Oh, God, I'm just not happy here.
Can you give me another thing? Can you plop another 20 pounds on the car, please? That'll make me really happy.
So this new IndyCar formula, a lot of it's honestly not that radically different. Now the car might look radically different, and aerodynamic.
I'm curious what it's going to look like.
That's it, because really we only know about. Well, if they know the weight of the car, they must have some kind of prototype design already. So
I'm assuming they're trying to get Honda to be on board before they show any renderings.
Well, part of me almost wishes they did what IMSA does and just have a more open formula and BOP it. And I've mentioned that before. I would like NASCAR to look into that too, but maybe more manufacturers would be interested if they could make their own engine and didn't have to make a specific type of engine. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But twin turbo V6. I learned what turbos are. Like, I didn't understand what any of those words mean, but I don't know. I've been learning more about cars lately. It's fun.
See, I learn a lot about my car info from you because you like fixated on cars right now. It's fun.
Yeah. You know, in Tears of the Kingdom, when you add a fan on the back of your little car, that's like a turbo.
Is it? Okay.
No, a turbo just
like
puts more
like
air.
The rocket?
The turbo just takes the air and it forces more air into the engine so it performs better. That's all it does.
Okay.
So a V6 is not as powerful as a V8 unless you put turbos on it.
Okay.
Like,
well,
yeah.
Let's get into fantasy.
Yeah, let's end this episode. I'm just so yappy today. No, I'm just yappy today. My head feels weird.
No, don't apologize. It's okay. Fantasy. We're at an hour 10. We're okay. Fantasy.
That's why you're not being mean to me.
Yeah, if it was another 20 minutes, I'd be yelling at you.
You'd be like, Zach, shut up.
IndyCar was at Road America, and I had Pillow for fantasy, so I won. You had Kirkwood, who finished 4th. Updated points there. It's you, Zach, 11, me 9.
How do you... Oh, really? You were that far behind? I thought you would have the lead by now.
Because you picked Kirkwood, I think, for Gateway, right?
Oh, I did. Didn't I also pick him for Detroit, or did I pick Pillow? I don't remember. I don't know. I feel like
you made up a lot of points. The
picking has been really easy. Well, I do be winning races.
Well, next race is Mid-Ohio on July 6th, 4th of July weekend. NASCAR at Pocono. Zach, you had Hamlin, you finished 2nd. I had Blaney, finished 3rd. So you got
what a battle
point.
That was. What a battle that was. Damn, Chase Briscoe kept me from getting 2 more points.
Yep. It's now 15-14. I get to pick first because I'm not in the points lead. And I'm going to go with Austin Cindric. Which, by the way, is who you picked in the spring.
Oh, and that damn stupid driver in that Hendrick car took him out. What was his name? Kyle Larson?
Oh, yeah, that guy.
That dumbass.
You might know him if you look on your shirt. He might ring a bell.
I think that's a good idea, Alex. You picked a Penske car?
Mm-hmm.
I like that. What if I picked a Penske car too?
Yeah? I picked the 2. Which one you going with? You can't take the 2.
Well, I can't pick the 2. Well, what if I'll pick the 1, 2, the 12? I'll pick the 12 car.
You're going to go with Ryan Blaney? Dude.
I thought you were going to pick Blaney.
The one time I don't pick him, you're probably going to win.
He wins in the summer. He's been running good lately. He feels good. He's letting his hair.
Now you're saying all this. Okay.
He's letting it. It's summer. No, it's summer. It's hot. It's hot Blaney summer.
Oh.
It's hot Blaney summer. You were picking him during sad Blaney spring. It was sad Blaney spring. Now it's hot Blaney summer. And in fall, it'll be cool Blaney summer because he's cool. He'll have his sunglasses on and just looking cool.
If Ryan Blaney wins, as our friend Brooke is going again like he did in the spring.
Brooke!
Oh my gosh.
I wish we were... me and Alex have been talking about going to Atlanta next year to to see Brooke. We're in Atlanta. Because it's the best race on the schedule in terms of ovals and just in general. I want to be there when Blaney wins to see both of y'all because you've never seen Blaney win in person, and I don't know if Brooke ever has. So, God, I want to be there to see that with you guys because Blaney's one of the best drivers at Atlanta. Yeah. That's why I'm picking him.
It's going to happen at some point. Yeah.
I hope it happens when we're there because that would be such a cool moment.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, with that, we're going to wrap up this episode here. Make sure you check out our Nate Stewart and Ryan Hines episodes. Those were so much fun. And remember, our Zach Heron episode comes out as of recording tomorrow.
So much Pride Month content.
Yeah, and there's more coming. Like, there's another Pride Month episode that's going to be in July. So, patreon.com/gayracingpod for $5 a month. You get those episodes early before anyone else, and $2 a month to ask those questions. And consider giving us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Consider liking and subscribing on YouTube, and follow us on social media at Gay Racing Pod on Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. And follow Zach and I at New Gaiden and at Dreamy Zach Racing on Blue Sky and Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, Emza was at Watkins Glen, by the way. We would have talked about it more.
You said you watched it, but you had nothing to say about it.
Well, they got, I don't know, they were under yellow for so long, and it rained at one point. They had a fuel mileage race too, though. Cadillac almost won with the 31, but Meyer Shank Racing won instead. And my Mustangs got DQ'd. It finished third and it got DQ'd. So I'm mad.
Cheating ponies.
You cheating ponies. I don't even know who won GTD. It might have been BMW or something. I don't even remember. Well, yesterday was stressful because I had to watch 3 races yesterday. Oh, gosh, so busy.
Wow. Life's so hard.
No, but it is awful, though. I hate Sundays where I feel like I'm watching racing all day. I actually hate it. It's too much.
Well, no, I get
by
it.
the time I
Because
get
then
to
you get the
NASCAR,
Sunday
it's awesome.
scaries. You get the Sunday scaries, and it's just like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do now? I have 2 hours left to be in bed.
Now, luckily, not luckily, because next Sunday, I don't think there will be a race unless F1's somewhere. Because we're racing for once Saturday night. Saturday. I love a Saturday night race. Oh my God. You get to look forward to it all day. You don't have to go to work the next day.
F1 has the Austrian Grand Prix.
That's going to be a banger, though. That's a good track.
And it's at 9 Eastern, so it's not like...
Oh, hell no, I ain't getting up early for that. Never mind.
It ain't as early as it normally is, but it's at 9 a.m.
Never mind. Y'all have fun with that. Y'all have fun with that. All right, we'll see y'all next week to talk about, I guess, NASCAR at Atlanta, and that should be a banger, and then F1 at Austria. Bye.
Yep. Bye.